fine. The calendar said that the Sanskrit course will be taken by His Grace Mahabhanudev Prabhu, but due to some emergency engagements, he was not available to take. So I am the stipend, so I have to take. All right. So we'll try to manage. Yeah, I cannot teach as good as him because he is that is his forte Sanskrit, but I'll try. So let's chant the Mangalachan prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitangena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tang Tang Sivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Dalitam Shri Vishakhanvitanscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachatyadeshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaurtashe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhishya Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Paridanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So a warm welcome to all of you again, and it is so nice that since last few days many wonderful Vaishnava festivals have been going on, and then soon Nityanand Triyodashi is also going to come. Tomorrow is Ekadashi, so many festivals. And during these auspicious days, we are getting a chance to study Prabhupada books. That's again very wonderful thing. So last week we had orientation. Now you are already prepared for the course mentally. From today, for 3 days, we are going to have this short course, Sanskrit, basic Sanskrit, right? So as it says, basic Sanskrit means it has to be basic only. It will be basic. It won't be advanced Sanskrit, just basic. What all are we going to discuss here? The importance of the Sanskrit language. How is it different from English language? And how to pronounce properly in Sanskrit. Then what are chandas, the prosodies, the meters in Sanskrit, right? And also we'll try to do the Sanskrit, the shloka recitation and dividing the shloka into individual words, all that also in this course. So what will be helpful to you for Bhakti Shastri? That much only, fine, not more than that. And actually the grammar of Sanskrit is quite complicated and it takes long time to learn it. So we are not going to enter into grammar. So please don't think that we'll be able to understand how exactly the words change when they come together. You know, it's called sandhi when you join two words in Sanskrit. So how that happens, that is too technical and we cannot just learn it in one class. For that you have to memorize so many things. the verbs, the nouns, the nominal suffixes, the verbal suffixes, and there's so many things. It's not that easy, you know. So we are going to just get some idea, and as we study the scriptures and we uh, try to look at the word meanings of all the Sanskrit words which come in the books, in due course of time, we will ourselves understand basic Sanskrit, you know, so that you can make out the meaning of what is this particular shloka of Bhagavad Gita, things like that. And that much only we need to know. We don't have to become very great scholars in the language. So let's start with the first thing. Why is it important? What did Srila Prabhupada speak about Sanskrit? And what did he expect from us to know in Sanskrit? What did he want? So you can see it on the screen. I'm sharing the slide. Sanskrit Basic. So Srila Prabhupada, in different letters, in different lectures, conversations, he has, mentioned about the importance of Sanskrit language. So first we'll look at the importance. So he writes in purport to Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 15.5, how Sanskrit is basically the gateway to education. Which education? The spiritual education. Anyone serious about studying the Sanskrit language should first learn grammar. What is it called? Vyakarana. It is said that simply to finish studying Sanskrit grammar takes at least 12 years. That's a long, long time. But once one learns the grammatical rules and regulations very nicely, all other scriptures or subject matters in Sanskrit are extremely easy to understand. For Sanskrit grammar is the gateway to education. How is it the gateway to education? We'll see that later on. Don't worry. How is it the gateway? Why is it so important? We'll see that later on. But this statement of Srila Prabhupada, what he is saying, if you know Sanskrit, then you can understand all the scriptures very easily, comes from his own personal experience also. How many of you know this? Okay, how many of you know what all subjects Srila Prabhupada studied in his college? No, no idea. Achha. Fine. So Srila Prabhupada did his studies in three main subjects. Chemistry. Okay, Mataji. That was a good guess. No, it was not chemistry. He became a pharmacist later on, but it was not chemistry. So the three main subjects which Srila Prabhupada studied in depth were, he had English as one of his main subjects. That's why his English is so good. Second, he had Sanskrit as one of his main subjects. You know. And third, economics. So these three subjects he studied in depth. And then Srila Prabhupada writes, because I knew these three languages very well, English, Sanskrit, and Bengali, for me it was very easy to understand the scriptures and translate them. Because he knew these languages very nicely, all three languages. And most of our scriptures were either in Sanskrit or in Bengali. And he knew English very well, so he could translate them. So that's what he's saying, that if you know Sanskrit, then it's the gateway to education. And this is my experience also. Even if we have very beautiful purpose given by Srila Prabhupada to the verses in Gita and Bhagavatam, if you know Sanskrit, many, many meanings, new meanings will come out of the verse if you just know Sanskrit. If you just know Sanskrit. You know. Because however good the translation of Srila Prabhupada might be, he himself admits that Sanskrit cannot be replaced by any language. You cannot do any justice to it. No translation can be like 100% exact translation of Sanskrit. What Srila Prabhupada did was, it's just amazing, totally amazing. No doubt that he presented the entire teaching so well in English language. But still, it cannot be done. Originally, when it is in Sanskrit, it carries so much more meaning to it. You know, so if we understand Sanskrit, the verse becomes very much relishable. So that's why he's saying it's a gateway to education. Now, next. let's go to the next slide where he mentions about what Sanskrit is actually. Sanskrit means Sanskrita means Samyak Krita, very nicely. Krita means to perform or to do, right? And Sanskrita, very nicely done. Sanskrit means reformed. It's a reformed language. And the lipi, the script is Devanagari. You must have heard this word before, Devanagari. Those who are from India must be knowing this word, right? So it's a lipi, a script. This language is spoken in the higher planetary systems. Even in Vaikuntha, this language is spoken. Devanagari. Deva Nagara. Just like Tokyo is Japan Nagara. Similarly, Nagar means city, and the citizens are called Nagarik. We know in Hindi there is word Nagarik, right? So in Sanskrit it is called Nagari. So Devanagari means people living in Dev Loka speak this language. One who lives in the city are called Nagari, so Devanagari. These alphabets letters are called Devanagari, but in the cities of the demigods, this language is spoken, Devanagari. So the Sanskrit letters, they have a divine origin. They have come from whom? They have come from the Supreme Lord himself. Supreme Lord did not speak in English or Greek or French or Chinese. He spoke in Sanskrit. He gave the knowledge to Brahma in this language. So it has its divine origin. Because of that, when we pronounce Sanskrit words, the vibration produces transcendental, right? Transcendental, which Prabhupada will mention later in the next quote. Next, the most perfect language. Sanskrit is a sound-based language. Sound-based. What does it mean? What you write, that's what you speak. That's how it is. It's not different. That's why we have seen that for children to memorize the spelling in Sanskrit becomes very easy, because what they say, they have to write that. But in English, it's not like that. You say something, you write something else. And then they get confused. We know so many such words. Like, for example, when you say car, it is C-A-R, it is not K-A-R. And when you say science, it is not science, it is science. So now the C changes into sir, right? Earlier it was K, and then the child will get confused. That's why the child will write spelling S-K-I-E-N-C-E, if you say science, right? And if you say science, then the child will be confused. Science means what? S-A-I-N. No C, because C means K or Ka. So, but in Sanskrit, it's not like that. It is sound-based. What you speak, that's what you write. Fine. So, it's the most perfect language. It is spoken not only on Krishna Loka, but also in higher planets of the demigods. It is called the language of God and the demigods. It was spoken also on this planet when people were all godly. They used to speak in Sanskrit. Sanskrit is the origin of all languages of the civilized peoples, and we know this, isn't it? So many English words are so similar to Sanskrit words, right? Like, for example, what do we call door in Sanskrit? Door. Yes, Paramakandi Mataji. Door is called, yeah, you can unmute yourself. Dwar. You see, it's called dwar, and equal means similar, right? Equality, right? And what is the Sanskrit word for same? Ek, ekam, equal. So we see so much of similarities there. Pitri, father; matri, mother; bhratri, brother, right? Even the word omniscient, omnipotent has come from the word om. So like that, all the languages. So this is the original language, the most perfect. And it's not like English. Beauty, but beauty, not but. Prabhupada used to say like that, not but, it's put. Now why put? Why not but? It has to be same, but in Sanskrit you cannot do that. It has to be exactly like that. So irrational difference in pronunciation. And what is the next thing about Sanskrit? Like in English, when we write a poem, he mentions in English poetry, one line may be 1 inch long and the next line might be so long, There's no pattern, isn't it? 600 inches long. But Sanskrit is not like that. There are strict principles. You cannot write poem anyway. You have to follow chanda. Number of syllables have to be fixed. So many rules are there, Sanskrit poetry. So therefore, in Sanskrit language, not an ordinary man can become a poet. But in English language, any Tom, Dick, and Harry can write a poem, isn't it? No other language of the world can be compared with it. No other language of the world is so perfect. Any language near to Sanskrit is like Bengali, is nearer to perfection. So Sanskrit is pronounced same way here or there, it is standard. So whether I read Sanskrit in Devanagari Lipi or I read it in Roman letters, the pronunciation is going to be the same. Correct? It's going to be the same. It doesn't matter whether it is Devanagari Lipi or it is Roman letters. So we have to now know how the Devanagari Lipi is written in Roman letters. That's what we need to learn, right? So then we can identify the letters properly. Now, one very interesting piece of information for you: the language which Krishna speaks in Golok Vrindavan, it is made up of 4 languages. So when you say Vraja Bhasha, the language of Krishna, it has 4 languages. What are those 4 languages? These 4 languages are all given in one song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He made one song with 4 languages basically. Just imagine, 4 language words are in one song. And what is that song? That song is Yashomati Nandana Braja Varanagara Gokula Ranjana Kana. And what are the 4 languages which Bhaktivinoda Thakur uses in this song, which makes Vraja Bhasha? Sanskrit, Bengali, Odia, and Hindi. So these languages are very close to the spiritual world, these 4 languages. Sanskrit, Hindi, Bengali, Odia. Akash Prabhu, do you have a question? Raise your hand. So ask, yeah, no problem. Unmute and ask. Can you tell those, the languages I told? Hindi, Sanskrit, Odia, Bengali. So next, learn to pronounce nicely. Someone would like to read this? Ashit Mehta Prabhu, would you like to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. I was just thinking of teaching our students the pronunciation of the Sanskrit verses in the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, etc. And by Krishna's will, you have already begun this. It will be a great help for me if the students are taught to pronounce in Sanskrit vibration. It will be another effect of transcendental sound vibration.
Thank you. So here it's mentioned, Prabhupada wanted that we should learn properly. And he said, what was the effect then? Transcendental sound vibration. Transcendental effect. Right? The chanting of verses produces transcendental effect. You can see here the word Krishna is spelled as K-R-S-N-A. You know? Even if you look at the Krishna book, it has these 5 letters. And sometimes people ask, why is it not K-R-I-S-H-N-A? Isn't it? Why is it like this? But then you also see that R, S, and N has a dot below them. K, R, there's a dot, S, there's a dot, N, there's a dot. Why? Because now we are writing special letters of Sanskrit into English. So we have to have special letters in English also. And these marks are called diacritic marks. D-I-A-C-R-I-T-C, D-I-C, diacritic marks. And we need to learn them. What do they mean? Some of you might already be knowing and some of you might not be knowing. So we'll learn that later on. Next, who would like to read this? Aruna Mataji, please read.
Hare Krishna, you can practice this diacritic mark. English translation is there. It is not very difficult. Simply if you practice twice, thrice, 4 times, it will come exactly the pronunciation. You will have to learn the diacritic marks.
You have to
Hare.
learn the diacritic marks. So that's the key. How will we learn the pronunciation nicely? Shilpa has given us the key. We have to learn the diacritic marks, how to pronounce those letters, special letters. And then even after we try a lot and we are not able to pronounce nicely, no need to become worried about it or discouraged, because Krishna is Bhavagrahi Janardana, right? So he's not Sanskrit Grahi Janardana, he's Bhavagrahi Janardana. He wants a bhav, mood. So Prabhupada says, you try your best, and after that, Krishna will accept everything, isn't it? Like someone may say, why do you say Krishna? Why don't you say Krishna? So Prabhupada said, don't worry. When you say Krishna, Krishna is only going to come. No one else is going to come. If the pronunciation is not fine, Krishna is going to understand that we are calling him. So still, we try our best. Who would like to read this? Priya Rani Mataji.
Offer the best to Lord Krishna. Of course, our spiritual subject matter is transcendental and therefore it remains potent despite mistakes in grammar, spelling, etc. But this type of translation may only be allowed if there is no other way to correct it. Then it is alright. But if you know the correct order, then you must make it perfect. That is our philosophy. Everything perfect for Krishna.
Thank you. So we try our best to learn the pronunciation in an exact way. We try our best. And still, if we are not able to do, no problem. But we should try. That's what Prabhupada is saying. Try to improvise it. Because the more purer it is, the more transcendental effect it will leave upon us and those who hear. Sound is the key to entering into the spiritual world, isn't it, for us? Sound created this material world, and sound creates our spiritual life also. So it's all about sound, actually. And the purer the sound is, the purer the connection will be with the spiritual realm. Whether it's chanting of Hare Krishna, whether it's chanting of the shlokas of Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, whatever. So we should try to make it as clean and clear as possible. Now I'll tell you something. For all the languages, the pronunciation is not very clear. Why Indians, they speak better English, or their accent of English is more clear than the English spoken by the Britishers and the Americans? Why? Even Americans and Europeans, they agree that their English is not so easy to understand, but an Indian's English, everyone can understand. Why is it so? That clarity of pronunciation is there because in those who are born in India, they learn to pronounce the Devanagari alphabets from childhood. And just the pronunciation of these alphabets makes the Vaka Shakti, pronunciation ability, speaking ability very clear. That's the beauty of Sanskrit language. Whereas in other languages, it's not there. Sanskrit is so wonderful. It is very, very rich, actually, in pronunciation. Lots of variations are there. We are going to look at it, actually. Lots of variations in pronunciation, uh, depending on the place where the tongue touches the mouth, different places, different sounds come out. And in that way, different vowels and alphabets are generated. So it's a very technical language, actually. Which needs very good movement of the tongue and the how much air we blow out of our mouth. So systematic. So that's why anyone who would learn this language would have very good, clear speaking abilities. Next. Now, why Sanskrit opens the gateway to education? Here is the answer to that. Vedas, they have a section called Vedanga. What is it called? Veda Anga. Anga means limb. Like in our body, we have different angas. These are different limbs of the body. Similarly, Vedanga means the different limbs of Veda. Ved. And how many are there total? 6 are there in total. So what we see is Sanskrit is an integral part of learning the Vedic scriptures. And how? The first Vedanga is Siksha. it's important to know all these things. So please, if required, make a note. Siksha. What is Siksha? It's called phonetics or phonology or pronunciation. How to pronounce the letters. Very important. If the Brahmana is performing Yakya, if the pronunciation is not clear, you know what will happen. There are so many stories in Bhagavatam about it. Wrong pronunciation, wrong result, isn't it? You wanted a boon, but you might get cursed if there is wrong pronunciation. So the pronunciation have to be very clear, and it's how much stress we give, how long we pull that letter. We are going to see there. There are letters which have to be pronounced for a moment. Then there are letters which have to be pronounced for 2 times a moment. And there are letters which have to be pronounced 3 times a moment. You know? So it's how long you pronounce them, not just the same time. So that is there. How, what is the accent, stress on the word, the melody, that's there in Shiksha. So it is based on Sanskrit. If you know Sanskrit, then only you can go for Siksha. Basically, Siksha is Sanskrit pronunciation only. So that's one limb of Vedas. There's the second limb of Vedas is called Chanda. What is Chanda? It's a meter. We call it the meter. Like Anushtup Chanda, Trishtup Chanda. There are different chandas. In Bhagavad Gita, we have 5 chandas. The entire Bhagavad Gita has 5 chandas. And the most prominent chanda which is there in Bhagavad Gita is called Anushtup Chanda. Okay. Dhritarashtra Vacha Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha Mamakaha Pandavaschaiva Kimmakurvata Sanjaya. Most of the shlokas in Gita go like this one, isn't it? So this is called Anushtup Chanda. Then there is a different Chanda also, 2.7. Karpanya dosho pahata subhava. This is a different Chanda. Different melody. Why is it different? Because of the difference in the number of syllables. In the Anushtup Chanda, there are 8 syllables in each line. Fine. Then now how do we know this? We are going to see this later on. How to count the number of syllables in a verse. So here is the key. If you learn how to count the number of syllables in the verse, then there is a fixed list of chandas. Then you can identify this verse has to be sung in this particular chanda. Okay. So there are around 26 chandas. And when we know the number of syllables, then we can find out. Different verses are different. Like for example, this verse, we sing in Shad Goswami Astakam. Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Paro. Right? This is a different chanda. Because the number of syllables are different. All right? Fine? So that's also Sanskrit then. Then the third is called Vyakarana, grammar. Now we need to know grammar. What is grammar basically? How do you form words? Isn't it? How do you put letters together to form words? That's called grammar. Isn't it? What is a verb? What is a noun? All those things. So that is also again Sanskrit. And then the fourth one is Nirukta. What is Nirukta? Basically, Nirukta means dictionary. In English, you call dictionary. In Sanskrit, it's called Nirukta. A particular word is given to you. So find out the meaning of this word. So what do we have to do? Go to Nirukta. Based on the context. Because in Sanskrit, depending on the context, same word can mean different things. So you go to Nirukta. All right. So we see out of 6 Vedangas, 4 are related to Sanskrit. Now you understand why Prabhupada says Sanskrit is the gateway to education. Because out of 6, 4 are related to Sanskrit. To know Vedas, I need to study Vedangas. And Vedangas, 4 of them need Sanskrit. And then the next 2 are not so much related to Sanskrit. 5th is Kalpa and the 6th is Jyotisha. Kalpa means the different rituals. And Jyotisha means the time at which these rituals should be done. Okay. So that's what makes Vedangas, sorry. So we can see here Sanskrit is very, very important for us. All right, so that was a brief explanation why Sanskrit is important. So some questions here. Sachi Nandan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu Danvat Pranam.
Dhanavad.
Prabhu, you were said that in Bhagavad Gita, if we are able to count the syllable, we know which chanda it is. But so I don't know if it is out of the box or question or same line question. How can we count the syllable? Can you tell us the technique?
Yes, Prabhu, I told we will be doing that in next class or maybe the third
Okay,
class.
okay.
We'll do that.
Sorry
Yeah,
for the question,
no
Prabhu.
problem. We'll do that.
Danvat Pranam. Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Ami Mataji, Ashik Mataji.
Prabhuji, just one clarification. The Kalpa you mentioned, this is not Kalpa in Jyotisha. This is not part of the Sanskrit.
No, you don't need so much knowledge of Sanskrit for this.
Okay. But even though the Kalpa are written in Sanskrit language.
Yeah, of course, that is there. Yeah, that is there. But it's not the language. The four things which we did, Nirukta, Vyakarana, Chanda, and Siksha, they are basically language only.
I see.
Right?
Okay.
But Kalpa and Jyotisha is not the language.
Not the language.
That's why we don't really say it's Sanskrit. But it's of course written in Sanskrit. Fine?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. Paramakanti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, will we be learning all the 26 chandas? Or
Yeah, yes. For that we have to have a Brahma's day. If not Brahma's day, then the Devta's day. But in 1.5 hours, it's very difficult to learn all of them. We will just briefly go through the list and practice few of them. Okay, but I'll give you that, material. Then you can, in your own time, practice and learn. Okay, so we'll just see few of them, and then you can try later on your own. I'll teach you the technique, then you do the practice. But it is very, very nice because once you know this, then you, as soon as you look at a verse, immediately you know the chanda, and then immediately you know how to chant that verse, right? And so that's going to be very, very helpful. Rajiv Khanna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, sometime back you just said that Srila Prabhupada used to say Krishna or Krishna, it won't make a difference. No, nobody else will come, only Krishna will come. So there we can take that little bit of leverage on the pronunciation. But then you also mentioned that if pronunciation is not correct, a boon can get transformed into a curse. So how do we reconcile? Meaning, is there an allowance or is there no allowance?
Thank you for the nice question, Prabhu. So now, for that, please try to understand, Vedas have two divisions. One is called Vedas, basically, which has the 4 Vedas, the Upanishads, all that. In that, the pronunciation has to be exact. If you do a mistake, it's not counted correct. So those verses are not called shlokas. Those verses are called mantras. That's why if you have ever opened by mistake Sheesh Upanishad by Srila Prabhupada, and if you have read it, then you'll see there it is not written text 1, it is written mantra 1. Why mantra 1? Because it is Upanishad. Right? But if you open Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's written text 1. It is shloka. So when it is Upanishad or Vedas, the pronunciation has to be very clear. That's why only a Brahmana was allowed to study the Upanishads. But when it comes to the other section of the Vedas, the Ramayana, Mahabharata, Gita, Puranas, there the pronunciation does not matter much. Even if there is a mistake, no problem. Okay. That's why we see even Srila Prabhupada sometimes when he chanted Bhagavad Gita shlokas, he would interchange the words. The word which should come at the fifth place, he will pronounce it at the sixth place. And the word which should come at the sixth place, he would pronounce it at the fifth place. And the disciples were thinking, oh, Srila Prabhupada forgot the shloka. How come we know and Srila Prabhupada forgot? But Srila Prabhupada did not forget. He knows that in Bhagavad Gita, it doesn't matter. In fact, in Sanskrit, it doesn't matter. If you put the words before or later, it doesn't matter. Like, I'll give you an example. Let's say, in English, I say, my name is Madhusudan Vishnu Das. In Sanskrit, I would say, Mama Namaha Madhusudan Vishnu Dasaha Asti. Right? But I can tell the same statement like this also. Mama Madhusudana Vishnu Dasah Namasti. No problem. Sanskrit, it means the same. The words can be put back and forth, no problem. In English, it cannot be there like that, because in English, we know there is a subject, there is an object, there is a verb, and you have to put it in an order. But in Sanskrit, nothing like that. That's why you can make a poem out of everything in Sanskrit, because there is no order. It need not be grammatically correct. In English, it has to be like grammatically correct. The word should come in a particular order. So that leverage is there when we are chanting the Gita shlokas, Bhagavatam shlokas, and things like that. I hope you got the answer.
Okay.
Rajiv,
Prabhuji, then can we say that in shlokas, bhav is more important than the pronunciation? Is that what?
Yes, pronunciation is also important, but bhav is more important. Yes, right. So
Okay,
that is more important.
thank you.
One question. You just said Bhagavad Gita has 5 chandas. We'll be learning all those 5. Yes, I'll give you the document. You can learn. No problem. I'll not be teaching all 5, but I'll give you the document in that all 5, all 26 will be there, so you can learn. Bangla is close to Sanskrit. Yeah. Bangla is close to Sanskrit, though it does not have Devanagari Lipi, but most of the letters are there, right? The writing style is different, but the letters are there, the pronunciation is there. Gita is also Gita Upanishad, because Gita is called Gita Upanishad, but it's not Upanishad. In the sense, it is not a part of Shruti Shastra, it's a part of Smriti Shastra. That's why it is called Upanishad. Why? That you ask the teacher who is going to teach Bhagavad Gita. All right? Don't ask me. So it's a Smriti Shastra, that's why. But it was called Upanishad because of some reasons. So you ask Bhagavad Gita teacher. Sachinandan Prabhu, question please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu Dhanvasana. Prabhu, two questions. One, like you said, for Golok Vrindavan language, it's a mixture of that 4 language or all 4 languages?
Yeah, it's a mixture of all those 4 languages. Vraja Bhasha is a mixture of those 4 languages.
Okay. And one thing, like from a very senior devotee, I heard that the word we are saying Krishna, they said that the word is Krishna, it's not Na. So can you just little bit explain for my
We'll do that later on, Prabhu. Don't worry.
Okay.
When we look at
I'm
the
sorry
reference.
again for the same question.
No problem. You are very enthusiastic. That's very nice. Okay. Sachadev Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, you talked about text, you talked about mantra. What about Anuchedas in Sandarbhas?
They are texts.
They are text. Acha, they are text. So, and second question, Prabhuji, that you talked about the order of shloka 1, 2, 3, 4 or 2, 3, 4, 1 or 3, 2, 1, 4 or whatever. But then we are always told to learn the shloka in its proper order. So
yeah, because that's Krishna spoke like that, so we should learn like that. But sometimes it's okay by mistake or just like that you spoke some word before or later. It doesn't matter. But Krishna spoke like that, so we should learn like that, isn't it?
So when we speak a verse, say the first line of the verse, the first pada, then instead of saying 1, 2, 3, 4, we say 2, 3, 4, 1. So that is one type of error. And the second type of error is we say 1, 2, 3, 4 correct, but we make a error in the pronunciation of say first or second. So are both important?
Errors are never important, but yes, you can. If there is a mistake like that, then Krishna will not stop you from going back and back to God. That's the point, right?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you.
Hare Krishna. All right. So next question, Ashir.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I wanted to know. So Devanagari language and Hindi language, is it a similar?
Mataji, Devanagari is not a language; it's a lipi. It's a script.
Script. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's a script, right? It's a script, and Hindi is written in that script. Hindi is language in that script.
Okay, thank you.
Prabhuji, just one question. I just wanted to follow up on one of the points that you made about the Veda has two divisions, Upanishads, and the other portion is Ramayana, Mahabharata, and the Puranas, right? Yes. Now you mentioned Upanishad has shlokas versus when we say
Upanishads has mantras.
Mantras, okay. And then Ramayana, Mahabharata, and Puranas, they have shlokas, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so one is mantra, another one is shloka. Okay, thank you.
Please don't worry about this. When I'll be taking Ishopanishad for you all, then we'll go very deep into the Vedas. Okay, what exactly are the different divisions in Vedas? We'll study all of that in detail. Fine?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, my God, so many questions. Adi Satviki Mataji. Kamalakshi Radhika Mataji. Oh, yes. Adi Satviki Mataji, fine.
Yes. Who? Me? Adi?
Yeah, Adi.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Dhanavad Pranam Prabhu, because I didn't switch it on. What it is, you mentioned that Srila Prabhupada used to change the word in Sanskrit. Now, sometimes, yeah. I remember one Janma Karma Chame Vidya.
There he does. Yeah.
Jo mein bhakti tattvatah, he would always say, Jo janati tattvatah.
Correct. Yes.
So I wonder why.
Because the meaning is the same, doesn't matter.
Oh, so you can just
make it. I and you cannot do Mataji. Forget about that. Let Prabhupada do it. We are just seeing that it's not a mistake. Okay. Let us learn the shlokas the way they are. Okay. Let's not go into too much of changing the order. Mind it, if you don't say it properly, you are not going to get full marks in Bhakti Shastri. You have to say it Bhakti Shastri properly. Not that. Okay. Next.
So we can blame
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes,
Tandatpana Prabhuji. Prabhuji, explain those 6 Swami Ashtagam. Please explain one more time, Prabhuji.
We'll do that, Mataji. When we do Chandas, we'll come back to it. Okay? Okay. Vrindavan Leela Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, my query is like sometime back when I was hearing one lecture, one Prabhuji, while describing the contribution of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said originally the Maha Mantra it begins with Hare Rama.
Yeah.
But then it was Mahaprabhu who changed the order because it can be done and the meaning doesn't change. But here it's not shloka, it's Maha Mantra, like not even mantra, it's Maha Mantra. So how do we understand that?
We understand that very simply because Mahaprabhu is Bhagavan, he can do anything. The rule is made by him that this is a mantra, it should be chanted like this is a shloka, it should be chanted like that. So he always has that veto power, he can do anything, he can change the rules.
Yes,
so
of course.
The rules. But only he can do that. So he did that to fool the Brahmanas of those times. So he changed the mantra and so that everyone can chant. Otherwise, if the mantra would have been like that, then many of us would not be allowed to chant the Maha Mantra.
Yes.
So Mahaprabhu being very merciful upon all kinds of people, he changed the order. Okay, last question.
Prabhuji, Srila Prabhupada wrote a letter to one of his disciples, and there he mentioned that for Bhakti Shastri, these 4 books, and then he says one line, and all the small paperbacks. So what are these small paperbacks?
The small paperbacks are the small books like Laws of Nature, Coming Back, Perfect Question, Perfect Answer.
Okay, so do we have to do this now for this?
No.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
Srila Prabhupada suggested different things at different times, and then we
Okay.
found this was decided this one.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
But then, even if you are interested, you can definitely study these books also. There's no harm. These books are very nice. You want to learn how to preach well, study all these books very nicely. These books are very helpful in preaching. Small books. Okay. Fine. Thank you so much, devotees, for the question and answer session. Now let's go to the next part. So, Dr. Milind Narvekar. Yes.
Question actually, Hare Krishna Mahamantra is a Mahamantra. So it has to be pronounced properly, but
yes.
I've never taught to pronounce it properly. We just taught the mantra. So
no problem. We will learn it now. So that's okay. Okay. We'll learn it now. Fine. Thank you. All right. So now we move to the next section. Let me share the screen with you. There are different things. Some technical things we'll be going to learning, and then we'll go to the alphabets. Fine. So share the screen. You all can see, yeah? So simple definitions. We should be knowing all this. So palate. Palate is the upper portion or roof of the inside portion of the mouth. The upper portion of the mouth. Its front side is hard, so it's called hard palate, and the back side is soft, so it's called soft palate. And why do we need to know this? Because in pronunciation is going to be there, helpful, right? Pronouncing the letters, the alphabets. Then the next is vowel. So there are two things, like in Devanagari also we study, in English also we study. Vowel and consonant, right? In English, how many vowels are there? 5 vowels are there. How many consonants are there? Who knows that?
32, 33.
English? 33?
Consonants. And vowels are 13.
You are talking about Sanskrit, na Prabhuji? I am asking English.
Okay. Sorry, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
No problem. Okay, Bindu Mataji. How many consonants?
21.
Yes, 21. Fine, thank you. So in Sanskrit also we have vowels and consonants. But the definition in Sanskrit for vowel and consonants are a bit different from what we have in English. What is the definition of a vowel in Sanskrit? In Sanskrit, vowel is called swara. It's called swara. And the point regarding vowel is that it is pronounced independently without the help of some other varna. Okay. And when you pronounce a vowel, your tongue does not touch any part of the mouth. That's a vowel. Okay. So we learned Sanskrit is a sound-based language. So everything is related to sound. So because the tongue does not touch any part of the mouth, it's called a vowel. Swara. And it can be pronounced without the help of any other alphabet. Fine. So there are 13 vowels in Sanskrit. 13 vowels. Out of them, 11 are very common. 2 are not so common. Those 2 are mostly in the mantras, in the Vedic mantras. And you don't find them much in Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. You don't find them much, those 2 vowels. They are mostly used in the Vedic mantras. And the remaining 11 are everywhere. Fine. Then what are consonants? Consonants are those letters which cannot be pronounced without the help of a vowel. That is a consonant. And when you pronounce a consonant, the tongue touches some part of the mouth. We'll be doing it, so you'll then understand. You will do the exercise, you'll understand. Got the definition? Vowel, consonant difference? Yeah? And what is a syllable? A syllable is a vowel with consonant together. That's a syllable. So if I say Anushtup Chand will have how many syllables? 8 syllables. And what is a syllable? It is a vowel plus consonant, or just a vowel. That's a syllable. Understood? Is it too technical? Yeah? Little bit? Sachinandan Prabhu.
in which a syllable is in a quarter.
Do you have something to say, Sachin? No. Okay. So we go to the next one then. This much was important for us to know. Syllable, vowel, consonant. So the vowel is called swara, the consonant is called vyanjana, and syllable is called akshar. Okay. Swara, vyanjana, akshar. These are the Sanskrit terms for these things. And now how many vowels we said? 13. But out of them, 11 are like most important for us as of now. We'll see all 13 also, but 11 are most important. And what are they? You can see here on the screen. They are like this. There are two kinds of vowels. One is called short, other is called long. Fine. Rashva, dirgha. Rashva means short, dirgha means long. And what is the difference? The short one is to be pronounced for 1 moment, or let's say 1 second. So we give the count 1. And the long one is to be pronounced for how many times? 2 times. Well, the duration should be twice. Fine. Yes, madam.
Can you please put this slide little up, Prabhu? The down line cannot see.
I'll come, Mataji. Let me just show the upper thing and I'll go down. Okay. So we have short and long. So you can see on screen now. They are just written in English. Later on, we'll see them in Devanagari also. So what are they? You see there is an A, right? There is an A. That's a short. So how do we pronounce that? Right? It's just a. If it is A, it's a. And if there is a dash over A, then it's called A. Understood? In Hindi we have e, u, like that. Fine. So when there is a dash on top of it, you should know this is the longer version. So I is short, means it's e. And when I has a dash on top of it, it is e, longer, e, right? Then there is U. U is not pronounced as U in Sanskrit. It is pronounced as U. U. Fine. And when there is a dash on top of it, then you say U. Longer. Pull it longer. U. Got it? E, U. Then there is a dot below R, isn't it? So when it's just R, it is R. But when there's a dot below R, it is Ri. It's like putting an E car after R, putting an E after R. Okay, Ri. Fine. And then we have 4 more long vowels, which are written as E, A, I, O, A, U, and they are pronounced like this: A, I, O, OW. Got it? So the pronunciation is different from the way pronounced in English. How many of you have got it, or we should be practicing it for some more time? How many say that we should practice it for some time? We should practice? If yes, raise your hand. If you are okay through with it, let's move on. Okay, we should practice. It is fine. Some say it's fine. Yeah, those who must have learned Hindi, for you it's fine. But for others, it might not be. So let's practice. So the first is a. When it is A, it is called a, right? A. And when there's a dash over it, it's called a. Fine. And then when there is just I, no dash on it, then it is E-car. So it is E. And when there's a dash over I, then it is E. Longer. E. Then we have U, but U should not be pronounced as U. It should be pronounced as what? U, right? U. And when there's a dash on top of it, it becomes O. Fine. All right. So the short one is called in Sanskrit. What is it called? The short one, it is called Hrashva, and the long one is called Dirgha. The short one is for one moment of duration. You can say one period of duration, and then the longer one is twice that time, twice. And then there is R and dot. It's called Ri. So that's why you get Krishna. You see, when you say Krishna, we put a dot below R, isn't it? And we say Kri, isn't it? Krishna. So it's Ri, Krishna. And then E is not E, it's pronounced as A. 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 All right. So if we have a word, short vowel is called Hrashva. Short vowel is called Hrashva. I'll be giving this also later on to you all. Hrashva. Okay. So, like for example, now let me, Prabhuji, Chandrapati Prabhuji, from next time, please allow annotation for the meetings, because now I'm not able to mark anything on the screen. Annotation is disabled. So from next time, please keep annotation on. So here, you see the word, let's say I give you a word. The word is EVAM. EVAM. Let's say EVAM. EVAM. Fine. EVAM. So now, how the letter E has to be pronounced? Not as E. It has to be pronounced as A. A. So it will become Evam. Evam. Got it? Evam. And then the next is AI. So AI is not AI. It should be pronounced as what? Who will tell? It should be pronounced as
I.
I. Very good. I. Then O has to be pronounced as O, and AU has to be pronounced as O. O. So A, I, O, Ri, A, I, O, O. Fine. That's the 11 vowels we do it. But there are two more. We'll see that, but we'll not practice it so much. We'll see that, we'll not practice. We'll just see them. Okay, two people have raised their hands. Akash, Ruku, please ask. No, your hand is down. Okay, Sachdev.
Yeah. Prabhuji, the 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth one, the Ra, you said Krishna. So where would Rishi fit in? Will it come under this Rishi?
Yeah, same. Rishi means R dot. Okay.
Okay. And then what about the Visarga of this Ra?
We'll come to that next.
Okay, thank you.
Visarga is a different thing. Anuswar is a different thing. This is a different thing.
What about the Dirgha?
There's no Dirgha for Ri. Ri is like this. There's no Dirgha for it. ठीक है सचदेव प्रभु?
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you. No Dirgha. No Dirgha.
No Dirgha for this particular. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So now we go to the next one, which is there are two letters which are neither vowels nor consonants, and they are called Visarga and Anuswara. Visarga and Anuswara. And they are very technical things, so we'll not go into too much of detail, but we'll just learn the pronunciation. Okay. So I'll not tell the pronunciation now. You remind me later on of these two. But you just remember M with a dot on top of it is called Anuswara. And H with a dot below it is called Visarga. Anuswara, Visarga. Okay. M with a dot is called Anuswara. H with a dot is called Visarga. Fine. We move on. Okay. So now we should do the consonants. Yes, we should do the consonants. Just give me a second. I'm opening the image. Okay, let me show you first this document, and then we'll go to the place of pronunciation. So you can see this document now. Are you able to see the PDF? Is it visible? Yeah?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay,
Yes, Prabhuji.
fine, thank you. So what do we see in that? Actually, it tells us about all the letters in Sanskrit language. So now these are all letters that we have in Sanskrit. Okay, these all letters are there. And as some of you who know Devanagari, you know all this, most of them, the letters. So we did vowels. We learned the vowels. You can see the vowels are in the last column. You know, the last column has the vowel. Is it too small? You can zoom it on your device if it's too small on your end. So the last column are the vowels. And I'm sorry, actually. Sachidev Prabhu, you had the question whether Re has a long version. Yes, it has a long version. But the next one, which is Re, that does not have a long version. Okay.
Okay,
And
got it. Yeah.
that is very complicated pronunciation actually. The tongue should roll and should touch the teeth. So it's not la, it's not lari, it is lari. Re, the re, right? The tongue should roll and touch the teeth. Re. So it's very uncommonly used, and that's why we don't count it as, you know.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, so we have re and we have re. Yeah, re. So then now the different consonants are also mentioned. How many consonants are there? You can find them on in the table. How many are there? 25 plus 4, 29 plus 3, 32 plus 1, 33. So there are 33 consonants. Okay, 33 consonants, 13 vowels. Total 46. And one anuswara, one visarga. But anuswara visarga is not a letter in itself. It is just for pronunciation. So when you say letters, 46. Okay. Now, consonants, if you look at them, what are they? Ka, kha, ga, kha, nga, cha, cha, ja, ja, nia, ta, tha, da, dha, na, ta, tha, da, dha, na, pa, pha, pa, pha, ma, ya, ra, la, va, sha, sha, sa. There are 3 different sas, right? Depending on where the tongue touches the palate. They are pronounced differently. All right? So they're pronounced differently depending on where does the tongue touch the palate. Now, what was the definition of a consonant? Anyone remembers? What is a consonant?
It depends on Akshar.
It's called Vyanjana, not Akshara.
It depends on the vowel.
For pronunciation, it depends on the vowel.
Yeah.
And when you pronounce it, the tongue touches some part of the mouth.
Yeah.
Right? So now let's try doing it. Let's try first the vowels and you see if the tongue touches or not. Say, does the tongue touch? No. Say, no. E, no. U, no. Right? Re, no. Isn't it? A, I, O, ow. The tongue does not touch. It's just the air coming out from inside. Now just see how technical it is. Did you ever learn all these technical things in English? This is how the sound is coming and this is how it is to be. Nothing like that. We don't go into so much of detail. But in Sanskrit, it's so systematic. It opens up your entire throat, basically. So we have air coming out fully from inside. So that's vowel. Now say ka, ka. Now when you say ka, where does the tongue touch? Tell ka. Where does it touch? It touches somewhere here, isn't it? Ka, it touches, right? Ka. So it touches there. Ka. Now you say cha. Cha. It touches, right? Cha. Touches. Then you say ta. When you say ta, it touches right in the center, isn't it? Ta. Isn't it? Ta. Right? And then you say ta. When you say ta, where does it touch? Ta. Say ta. Ta. It touches the back of the teeth. Isn't it? Ta. And when you say pa, where it touches the lips? Pa. Pa. Right? Pa. Got it? So now when we say ka, kha, ga, gang, all these sounds are produced from here. The tongue touches here. That's why they're in one line. But is there anything like in English? No. Nothing like that. But here it's not that, just to make a table, we have put five of them together. No, they are together because of the sound coming from a particular place. So ka, kha, ga, ga. So what is the last one? It's called anga, anga. You see, it's called anga, anga. It's like, now how do I say? Say Ganga, Ganga. When you say Ganga, there's anga sound, Ganga. That is this one. Okay? It is not Ganaga, it is Ganga. Ganga. Right? So that particular thing is there. Getting it? And how do we write it? There is a dot over N. There is a dot over N. If there is no dot over N or below N, then it is just na. Just na. Like Nadia, Nagara, Namaste. Just na. But when there is a dot above it, then it's Ganga. Right? That anga sound is there. So ka, kha, ga, gha, anga. It's touching here, right? All of them. And then there is palatal. So they touch the next part of the palate. Cha, cha, ja, ja, nia. Nia. It's called nia, right? Like yagya, right? Nia, yagya. Fine. And how do we write it in English? You'll see a tilde mark over N. Some kind of wave sign over N. Isn't it? That's why in Sanskrit, if you want to write yagya, we don't write it as Y-A-G-Y-A. Right? We don't say yagya as Y-A-G-Y-A. How do we write yagya in English? It is Y-A-J and there is N, and above N there is an tilde sign and there is A. So some people then pronounce it as yajna. Yajna. It's not yajna. It is yagya. Okay. I can see some of you are getting bored. Oh, we have to study all this. No, is it? Is it interesting or not? Feeling sleepy? Some of you are feeling sleepy, it seems. No? Okay, Ashok Prabhuji, you have something to say?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat. Prabhu, what is this gutturals? Can you explain?
Okay, I'll come to that, Prabhuji. Don't worry. It's called gutturals. Gutturals means the sound come from this portion is called guttural. That's why it's called gutturals. We'll come to that.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. How is your eye now? You went through a surgery, right?
Yes, Prabhu. I went through a surgery. Thanks for remembering. Okay. I'm not yet okay, but I didn't want to miss the class.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hope you'll get well soon. Hare Krishna. Next, Sachadev Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhuji, where would Sanjaya Uvacha, Sanjaya fit?
That is the near after jha.
Second one.
Second.
Acha.
Yeah, second one, Sanjay.
Acha. Acha.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Nitai Mata.
Krishna Prabhu, Prabhu, is it necessary to be 100% on this, Prabhu? It is little difficult.
Yeah, it is difficult. I know, but if you practice, it will come. Don't worry. I know. It's not that difficult. It's just the first session, isn't it? After 10 sessions, if you say it's difficult, then I will say yes, it is. Now it's just the first session, so don't worry. After some practice, you'll get it. Okay. Next, Sapna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So I live in southern part of India and I come actually from north. So I've seen some differences in the way people pronounce.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to clarify which one is correct. Because for example, when we say Rishi, I mean the vowel sound Rishi, it is pronounced as Ri in northern India, whereas in south it is called as Rushi.
Rushi. In Maharashtra also is called Rushi.
Yeah,
right?
so are both correct or any one of them is correct?
Both are correct.
Both are correct. Okay.
Yeah. Some
And
variations
same
are there because
Okay.
of the differences, something.
Same is with, Yagya is called Yagna here.
Yeah, it's true.
So,
It's correct.
So anything is correct, right?
Yeah, no problem. Okay. Some variations are always there.
Okay, thank you.
Adi
And
Satvik.
Prabhuji, I had one more question. Sorry if I
Yeah, tell me.
Re when we talk about the vowel and ra when we talk about the consonant, from childhood I've never got the difference. So
when you say ra, we will come to that. It's a semi-vowel. Technically, the tongue touches a portion which is totally different from the other action. When you say re, there is no touch of the tongue. You say it's a re. It's the sound coming
I've
from.
been trying, but somehow I feel like it has been touching. But
So
that is
don't
why
touch it. Speak without touching. Then the proper sound will come. Say re.
Okay,
Say
I
re.
will try.
Don't touch. Then the proper sound will come.
Re.
That's how we practice. So if you say touching, that means the proper sound will not come. So when it's not touching, proper sound will come. That's the exact sound. Re. Okay.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Fine.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes,
Hare
Mataji. Yeah.
But I'm wondering about something that because we are going to write it in English, so why is it important to learn these vowels and consonant and all these little bits
for
and
pronunciation, you will be memorizing shloka, no? So for pronunciation.
Oh, for pronunciation.
Yeah.
I was wondering whether we need to write it in,
No,
the sloka.
don't worry. We'll not give an exam on this. No problem. No exam on this. Don't worry. It's a pronunciation, and it's nice to know, na? If you know all this, then you'll be able to pronounce better, right? All the shlokas. We are learning Sanskrit now, na? So, okay, Sachinandan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanvat Pranam. Prabhu, as I am from Pakistan, we didn't learn Hindi, but by Krishna's mercy, I can read Hindi. I didn't learn from anyone. It's just Krishna Kirpa. I can't write even. And I don't know even though the alphabets. So just I need a little bit help from you in few words because I'm little bit confused. The few words, all the vowel words, if you can pronounce, so I can put in my mind, because in our word, r, re, or the other word, and one more word in the gutturals, the last word, which is in English, if normal, I will say na. So in Hindi,
No,
what's
and
that?
it will be like, say, okay, pronounce this word, Ganga.
Ganga.
So
Ganga.
you see that
Okay.
ang sound coming, right?
Okay.
That is different from na, right? If it would be
Okay.
na, then you will be say Ganaga, right?
Okay, Gunga.
Ganga,
And the
that
same.
yeah, that's all.
Okay, and the same word down the another na. What's up in Hindi as well?
The next one is nya, like
Nya.
yagya. You see nya.
Yeah.
It's very subtle. And the next one we are going to come that property. We are
Okay,
coming to
and
the third line now.
Prabhu, can you only pronounce vowels word? First two I can read a and a.
A,
E,
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 ri,
The second, sorry, second R, what is the pronunciation, Prabhu? First I know Rishi, like you were saying. The second,
that just extended twice the time period.
Z,
Yeah,
like
re,
Z.
no?
Okay, and downward then?
It's lari. You'll not get it
Lur-
so easily. The tongue should roll inside. It's not lari. It's not lari. It's lari. The tongue should roll and touch the teeth.
Is it like ladai in Urdu? Like
No. It's not like that. Okay, fine. Later on, please find a teacher on Sanskrit who will teach you all this pronunciation. It will take some time. Okay.
Sorry.
No problem.
So only once if you can read for me, I'm really so sorry. At least I can keep in my mind.
I'll send an audio recording on the group. Fine. Okay.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
And the next is fine. Okay, my goodness. Sajdev Prabhuji also has a question. Yes, Prabhuji.
Not a question, Prabhuji. Help from you that, these things like ra, re and ra and all. Can you just spell these in English also and give it to us afterwards?
English?
Yeah, like LRI or whatever it is.
No, it cannot happen. No English.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Bit of spoon feeding, Prabhu.
Okay, so now we come to the third row of Vyanjana. Say ta. Ta. What happens? The tongue touches right the center of the palate. Right? Ta, and it's very strong actually. Ta. Ta, tha, da, dha. And then now don't say na. Say ana. Say ana. Ana. The sound should be ana. So when there is a dot below n, it's not na. It is ana. Right? It's not na. It's na. That's it. And that's why it is not Krishna. It is Krishna. Because there is a dot below n. Now you understand. There is a dot below n. So it is not Krishna. It is Krishna. Now what happens if you are born in India and you studied Hindi? It's very natural to pronounce all this. But if you have not actually had any habit of doing it, it is a bit difficult in the beginning. But you can catch up to it. And even if you don't catch up, don't worry. But try. So it's Ana, Krishna. Okay, Ana. Who wants to try? Let someone try telling what is the pronunciation on this letter. Who will try? Ana. Very good. Ana. Krishna. Very good. Thank you. And then the next phrase, ta, tha, da, dha, na. So the tongue touches the back portion of the teeth, right? That's why it's called dental. Dental. Why is it called dental? It touches the teeth. That's why it's called dental. Da, tha, da, dha, na. And the last one is it touch. Actually, it does not really touch, but the lips come together. So it's pa, pha, ba, pha, ma. Pa, pha, ba, pha, ma. Now there is an interesting thing. In English, there is a letter called F. Right? F. That F is not pha. It's different. It's not. You see, in English, if we have a word FOOL, what do you call? You call it as fool, right? And fool in Hindi would mean what?
Flower.
So it is not fool, it is pool, pha, not fa. There's no fa sound in Sanskrit. There's nothing like fa. There's no fa. It is pha, phala, pool. So this is a difference, not the same. Okay. So it's pa, pha, ba, pha, ma. Fine. And then next is semi-vowels. What are they? Ya, ra, la, va. Ya, ra, la, va. Ya, ra, la, va. Y-A is ya, R-A is ra, L-A is la, V-A is va. And then we have three sas. People always get confused with this. Three sas. And how do we pronounce them, these three sas? Now, what is FA with a dot at the left bottom? Where is FA with a dot? With a dot. I'm sorry, Swapna Mataji, I am not able to find what.
No, like in Hindi, you said there is nothing called as fur in Hindi, right? So when you write pha with a dot on the left hand side, what is that called? Because what I learned is that is called as pha.
That is what happens is actually in Sanskrit, we don't really generally have it. In Hindi, because they wanted to also write some Urdu words. Okay. And in Urdu, we have this letter called fa, za, right? Like for example, in Islam, we have a name Zumeen. So it's not Jumeen, it is za. You see the difference? You know? In Hindi, we don't have words like za, you know. So to include those words, these certain things were introduced in Hindi language.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but in Sanskrit, we don't have originally. Because nowadays in India, Hindi has become quite a mixture of Hindi and Urdu. If you see, many words are used in Hindi which are Urdu words actually, not the Sanskrit words. So for that purpose. Okay, Mataji.
Okay, thank you.
So now we have sa. So there is 3 different sas. How will you pronounce? Depending on where should the tongue touch, right? Okay. So now when you have the last sa, which does not have any dots with it, how should it be pronounced? The tongue should touch the back of the teeth. So it is sa. Simple. Sa. Sa. And when you say S with a tilde sign at the top, you know, an apostrophe sign at the top, S-A, an apostrophe sign. That is sha. The tongue should touch somewhere here. Sha, sha, sha. Sha. Okay. Sa is plain and then sha. And when you have S with a dot below it, then it should touch where? It should touch the middle of the palate. Ta, tha, da, da, ana, sha. You know, it's like, now this gets really tough. It's not so easy to pronounce it. But you have to say sha and you should touch this portion of that. So this will come by practice. Okay, done. I think that's good for today, and we'll go into more things next class. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can you please pronounce this S like apostrophe on top, that one? How could you pronounce that?
Sha. Sha.
Sha. Okay.
Like you say, let me give you a word. Shanivar. Say Shanivar.
Okay.
Shanivar. Right? It is not Sanivar. It is Shanivar. It's like, you know, putting some kind of hustling sound there, isn't it? Sha. And when that hustling sound increases a lot, then it becomes sha. You know, it should be like really coarse sound coming out of the mouth. Sha. Little heavy sound. Sha. Okay. So fine. Thank you so much for being very patient with the technicalities of Sanskrit language. You know?
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
I hope it was helpful.
Very helpful.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Ashok here, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
You know, I'm sorry I could not attend last 3 sessions because of my eye surgery. So if you allow me, can I ask a question from the last session?
How many questions, Prabhu?
Only one question, Prabhu.
Okay. So I hope others don't mind, right?
No, we don't mind.
Okay. So tell. Yes.
Prabhu, when you know, you were speaking about aims of studying Bhakti Shastri course, in that aim 1 and aim 2, aim 1, Prabhupada is saying, you read my purport, remember them, and speak them without adultery, without any adultery. And in aim 2, Prabhupada is saying, when you read my purport, understand them and explain them depending on its application at the, you know, different times, place, circumstances, and people.
Yes, sir.
So, Prabhu, when we memorize the purport, when we understand and we apply it, and we try to explain it to different people in different ways, definitely there'll be some deviation from the purport what Prabhupada has said. No. How do we understand what will be adultery and what will be what is the allowed you know, deviation?
No.
Adulteration means basically we miss out on the principle. We change the principle which is behind that statement. Detail means depends on the audience. How much the audience can take at that time. What example will you give to explain to that audience? You know, that is the detail.
Okay.
Right? The principle is it should not be changed. For example, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is a principle. We cannot change on that.
Right.
Now, how do you explain Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead? That's up to you.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So we have to present it in our own language depending on the audience. But the principle should be there. You know? Like for example, some teacher may teach 2 mangoes plus 5 mangoes equals to 7 mangoes. So 2 plus 5, 7 is a principle, isn't it? 2 plus 5 is 7. And some teacher may teach 2 apples plus 5 oranges is equal to 7 fruits. That is also correct.
That's also correct. Correct.
The details are different, isn't it? The principle is the same. Right?
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Naveen Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Naveen Mandana here, Dandvat Prabhu. I did not see the sound tra.
Because tra is a combination of more than one letter. Getting it? So these are called Sanyukt Vyanjanas. These are called Sanyukt Vyanjana. It is made up of 2 or more Vyanjanas together.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. And another, just a small comment. Can this PDF be sent to us? Because I have 3 grandchildren, actually 5 grandchildren, but 2 are very small right now. So it'll be very useful to, when I teach them Hindi or Sanskrit, so they will learn it in the right way.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll be putting all of this on the WhatsApp group. You'll get the PDF, the documents of it. Don't worry. All right. Yes, 2 more questions. Akshar Gaur. And these 2 are the last questions for today. Yeah, Akshar Gaur Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam.
Dandvat Pranam.
Prabhuji, I have joined today itself.
Oh.
So whatever earlier lectures you may have conducted, will you please, I will be able to know it?
You'll have to pay a fine, Prabhuji. Then we'll send it.
Okay. No
Don't worry, no fine. Just joking. We'll ask Chandrapati Prabhuji to send you the video recording. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Welcome to the course. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hari.
Adi Satvaki Mataji.
Prabhu, Dandvat Pranam. I have got the similar question from the last class. Is one of the aim is a 4th aim and angles. So that 4th one, it was very important. You said that how you present your knowledge to opposing parties. Now, is it possible for me to have an example?
Example?
Yes, 1 or 2 examples, please.
What exactly you mean by presenting the knowledge to the opposing party, Mataji? Like, what are you talking about? What situation you are talking about? Is that you are asking me? Is that the question?
Yes, fourth of the aims among those 12 is number 4, and it says preaching applications.
Okay, let me give you an example. Let's say someone invited you for a preaching program, and they organized the preaching program in a Hindu temple, not an ISKCON temple, in a Hindu temple. Okay. And in that temple, there are deities of Lord Shiva, Durga, Ganesha, Lord Ram, Krishna is also there, Sai Baba is also there. All kinds of deities are there. And the organizer is a person who is the main person in that temple. So you go there and then you start giving a lecture on demigod worship versus Krishna worship. And then you say, all these demigods, they are not gods, and you people are fools and rascals because you are worshipping demigods. So you should worship Krishna. Now what happens is, someone helped you organize a program in his place, and you go there and then you speak like this. So this is wrong application.
Right, yes.
Right?
Yes.
And you may not know this happened in Singapore, and because of that, ISKCON got banned in Singapore. And that's why for now, almost 30 years, 30 or 40 years, ISKCON cannot do any program in Singapore. You know this?
Oh, no.
Just because of this. Someone,
Oh.
the person who owned the temple had lots of demigods there, and somehow the preacher was not so trained. So he went there and gave a class, very nice class on demigod versus. You know, so it was like India versus Pakistan cricket match, and he gave that kind of talk.
Yes.
And then ISKCON got banned in Singapore, and still it is banned in Singapore. So can you imagine how much
damaging
it can be?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for explanation, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji, for asking such nice questions. So we will end over here. It's time to go to bed. Tomorrow is Ekadashi, so we should get up early, chant some extra rounds, right? And pray to Krishna that we get some more intelligence to understand Sanskrit and later on other subjects of Bhakti Shastri also. See you on Wednesday. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare
Hare
Bol.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Pranam
Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam to all devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.
Hare
Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Wonderful program.
Hare Krishna. Thank you
Hare
very much.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so we end here.